Beauty has always demanded a price. Sometimes that price paid it quietly, hidden in a portrait, locked behind a frame. Sometimes it's paid in blood, bone and breath, aged directly onto the body. And stories obsessed with beauty. Perfection is never innocent. It promises transcendence, but delivers fracture. Across centuries, this promise has remained disturbingly unchanged. Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray is a novel born from Victorian aestheticism, a movement that placed beauty above morality and art above ethics. Dorian Gray remains eternally youthful, while his portrait absorbs the visible consequences of his moral decay. His sins do not disappear, they are simply displaced. More than a century later, Darren Aronofsky's Black Swan presents a modern echo of this obsession. Nina Sayer pursues artistic perfection, his absolute devotion, disciplining her body and mind in the hope of becoming the ideal performer. Yet unlike Dorian, Nina can't separate herself from the cost of her transformation. In this video essay, I'm going to argue that Victorian aestheticism's fear of moral corruption persists in modern storytelling as an obsession with perfection. While The Picture of Dorian Gray eternalizes decay throughout the Gothic device in the portrait, Black Swan eternalizes it, transforming the human body itself into the site of destruction.
Speak up, or it'll hurt his feelings.
Is that really how I look? It's just so lifelike.
In The Picture of Dorian Gray, beauty functions as a form of power. Dorian's appearance grants him social immunity. He can indulge in cruelty, manipulation, and excess without consequence, at least none that are visible. White's portrait is more than a supernatural object, it's a formal ledger. Every act of corruption is recorded upon its surface, allowing Dorian to exist as a flawless image while his soul deteriorates elsewhere. This separation reflects a core anxiety of Victorian aestheticism, the fear that art, when detached morality, becomes danger. White does not reject beauty outright, but he exposes its fragility. Beauty without ethical grounding becomes a form of denial, a refusal to confront responsibility. The Gothic element of the novel lies not merely in the supernatural portrait, but in what it represents, the illusion that one can remain pure while corruption is hidden from view. In the modern narratives, however, this illusion collapses. The body can no longer separate. What was hidden once in art must now endure in flesh. Black Swan recollects aesthetic obsession from the external object to the internal self. Nina Sayers does not possess a portrait absorb her decay. She becomes the portrait. Her pursuit of perfection reflects a modern culture obsessed with performance, discipline, and self-surveillance. Mirrors dominate the film's visual language, constantly forcing Nina to confront a fractured version of herself. As her performance improves, her sense of identity disintegrates. The gothic horror of Black Swan is psychological rather than supernatural, yet it is no less violent. The body becomes battleground where beauty is extracted through pain. Unlike Dorian, Nina cannot hide. Her deterioration is visible, audible, and embodied. The cost of perfection is paid in a real time. Altogether, the picture of Dorian Gray and Black Swan reveal a shift in how aesthetic obsession is represented across time. In the Victorian context, corruption is displaced. Art absorbs sin, so the individual may remain untouched. In the modern context, displacement is no longer possible. The self must carry in his own decay. Yet, the underlying anxiety remains unchanged. The fear that the pursuit of beauty and perfection demands destruction of the self. Both Doreen and Nina mistake aesthetic completion for personal fulfillment. And both discover, which is too late, that perfection is not transcendence, but erasure. This narrative endure because they speak directly to contemporary culture. In a world governed by visuality, performance, and constant self-optimization, the body has become a project rather than a home. Victorian fears of moral decay have not disappeared. They have been internalized. Today, the portrait is no longer a wall. It is the mirror. It is the sacred. It is the self. Dorian Gray teaches us beauty can lie. Black Swan reminds us that perfection demands a body to break. Across centuries, the Gothic returns not to frighten us, but to warn us. When art replaces ethics and perfection replaces humanity, something must decay. And whether that decay hides in portrait or fractures the self from within, the cost of beauty is never invisible for long. What both the picture of Dorian Gray and Black Swan ultimately expose is the illusion at the heart of aestheticism. Dorian believes corruption can be contained, hidden within art. Nina believes perfection can be earned, disciplined into the body. Both believe beauty offers control, but beauty does not erase consequence, it only lays it. In White Sword, decay is displaced onto canvas. In Black Swan, displacement fails. There is no surface left to absorb the damage. What remains is the Gothic truth that across centuries, when beauty is separated from ethics, the self is not perfected, it is consumed.